I'm going to be trying to fix a MacBook, and I thought I would do this one live, and I'm going to fix something that I broke. A couple of weeks ago, I've been doing some tests on some stuff, and I've actually been helping out one of the ArduPilot devs with the DJI FPV system, getting support for that in Mavlink. You might have seen my other video where I mentioned it. So I've been out and about, I've been in the field, I've been out testing ArduPilot, making sure that it works with the DJI system, with Alex, one of the devs. Actually, I've sent my FPV system over to him now for him to have a play with as well. So anyway, it was all going fantastic. One night, I was doing some tests quite late and did some things in the garden, just a quick test, and I did something a little bit silly. Now, as you can see here, I've got my old 2010 MacBook Air, which has been one of my old faithful laptops, actually. It's brilliant for the bench. You know, it's not a current up-to-date model. It's an old Intel Core Duo, but it's been a trusty old bit of kit. I bought that one brand new in 2010, October 2010, I should say. And it's been brilliant. So anyway, as I said, I was testing the software and popped in the garden to test it. I had a very busy next day. I had a very busy day after that, and it was only the evening after that that I realised I had left the laptop in the garden for 2 days. Not only had I left the laptop in the garden for 2 days, I'd left it out in the garden for 2 days when we had torrential rain. Now, the irony to this is that we have had some of the best weather in Wales since I can remember since lockdown has happened. It's been fantastic weather, outstanding weather. Yet, the 2 days I decide to leave a laptop outside, we literally get the worst rain I have seen than I can remember as well. And it was torrential. As you can see, it got a little bit wet, to say the least, for 2 days. And I did a little bit of damage. Now, I didn't record all of the damage that I'd done, unfortunately. I actually stripped it down. I should have stuck the camera on to actually show you guys what I did. And believe it or not, it wasn't as bad as I actually thought. But some damage was done. And what I ended up actually doing was burning out one of the boards. Let me just grab it. And we'll actually get it on the bench because I've got replacement parts for it. So that's what we're going to do, is put it back together. And I ended up burning out one of this board here specifically, which is the power board. Let's get this onto full camera so you can see. Is it going to focus? Which is the main power input board. And basically what had happened is water had gone in via the fan duct and it had shorted out the board. It had destroyed both the board and the cable. Now, I cleaned the board up, and what was clear was the actual connector on the board, and we'll look at it closely on the other camera in a minute, had burnt out. The rest of the board seemed fine. Now, I had a look if I could get a replacement connector. I actually removed the old one off the old board, but what happened in reality was the cost of the connector, getting it shipped over from China and having to solder it, was no different to the price of a used replacement board on eBay. So I've ended up ordering a used replacement board, a used replacement cable, and what I'm going to do now is put this back together. Now, I have no idea if this is going to work. I've not done any tests on this thing at all. So at this moment in time, I really do not know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a try. So we're going to do a little bit of a Lewis Rossman. We're going to fix a MacBook, but what we're going to do is replace the part, put it back together, and we're going to see if it boots. What we have here, we've got 2 new parts which we're going to place up there, and they're not used, they are refurbished, so we're going to hope they work as the seller has told me that they do. I'm just moving the screen on the camera. I do need to sort this out, actually. One of the things on this new live camera is when I move it, you can see there's a bit of a bounce in it, and it's the way I've actually got the bracket set up. So whilst it does work quite well, it's not perfect. Now, just to show you the actual damage, what you've got on the standard MacBook Air, now this is a late 2010 MacBook Air, Intel Core Duo. It was the first of the new design models, and what you've then got is the main board located here, and then you've got this power module which sits down here, which has got a USB port, the power input, as well as the headphone microphone jack. And the water had actually not got into the main board at all. It had only got in this side here on the main PCB area. And that was the only place the water had got, but it ended up burning on this connector, and I'll show you this on the new board. And what I'm going to do is bring it up close, and then I'm going to manually focus. There we go. and it ended up burning around that connector there. So I ended up removing the connector off the board, which is this one here, but I could not get a replacement very easily. Now I could get them from China, but it was like $5, but $20 postage, and I bought the board for about the same money, so it wasn't worth it. But I have actually cleaned this board up already. You can see I've had some heat on it because I have slightly melted that connector. But other than that, I do believe that board works fine, but we have to order a replacement. Now it also, because it was this connector that was on it, it also corroded that connector as well. Now you can't really see it because I have cleaned it up, but I have ordered a replacement board and connector for this to make sure. So what we've simply got to do on this is reassemble and actually test it to see if it works. Now, the first thing I need to do is get all my screwdrivers in place and get all the screws out of the base. Now, what is annoying stroke typical on this one is this machine has been stripped now for a week, so I've forgotten which way half the screws go. I've forgotten where half the screws go, so we are going to be flying a little bit blind on this one. We're going to have to make sure that we don't over-thread some screws in some places. Try and remember where the other screws go in others and figure it out as we go along. Getting it back absolutely perfectly isn't end of the world in this, if I'm completely honest. For me, what is really key is, and that's the logic board, is trying to get it working if it works. The interesting thing is, that is all that is in a Macbook Air, I should say, 2010 Macbook Air. That is literally the whole PC. So you've got the SSD, we've got the CPU, we've got the wireless card, and that's it. You know, there really is nothing in these things. You take the logic board out, you've then got your keyboard, we've got our few connectors, we've got our speakers on the side, we've got the display connector, the Wi-Fi antennas, and a couple of others there. But literally, that is the whole board from inside a MacBook. Now, I had already stripped this down quite a lot to be able to get it out. Here we go. So we're going to take the SSD off, and the reason I'm taking the SSD off is because there's a screw beneath it, and it was going to caught me out when I actually stripped it in the first place. Again, we just want to give them a tug, and that is the main SSD drive that we were using this one, and this was one of the earlier 2010 ones where you could actually update the SSD. Now this one, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys, you can have a look. This one, when I ordered this brand new from Apple, and I actually upgraded the RAM. This is the model with 4 gigs of RAM, not 2 gigs like the standard one. So you can see all the RAM is populated on that side, and if I flip the board over, all of the RAM is populated on that side as well. So it is actually the upgraded model. It has that extra 2 gig of RAM. I know, don't fall off your chair when we're talking about the numbers here, but it was quite a big upgrade at the time that I probably paid a crazy amount of money for. Anyway, let's get on with the rebuild. So the first thing we're going to do is get the boards back in place. Now this is the new one, so we're going to pop him down in there, and there are some cables on this one as well, so we're going to pop him down in place there just like that. We're not going to screw him yet, and then we're going to take our logic board, and again there's been no real water damage on this, so I'm not particularly concerned. I have cleaned this one up already. I've given it a bit of a going over, but I'm not particularly concerned about water damage on the main board itself. Actually, I think he does go in after that one just because of the way that's laid out. So what we're going to do now is try and remember where half these screws go, because as I said, I didn't pay a massive amount of attention at the time of dismantling. But, with regards to drone news this week, I put a video out yesterday of repairing my Mavic 2 remote. If you haven't seen it, I'm actually, do you know what? It's one of my favourite videos I have released in a while. I have to say, you do, when you do this strange YouTube thing that I do, and I still don't know at times why I do it. Now and again, you know, I put a lot of content out that I'm not particularly happy with. I just don't feel it's gone the way I wanted to. You know, I always have an idea in my head how I'd like a video to go, you know, and it's extremely frustrating at times that you can struggle to get it to look the way you want it to, or the way you get the video to do what, you know, it just doesn't come out the way you want it to, is the easiest term to use. However, now and again, you make a video that you're really pleased with. And that, for me, was one of the ones I'm really pleased with. Now, I want to just check something here, because I want to check, and I have a feeling, taking this off, yes, this board goes in that gap. Yeah, but I was really pleased with it. So if you haven't seen it, and please do check it out if you're interested in seeing how I repaired my Mavic 2 remote. It was a total pain in the ass, the fact that it even happened at all in the first place. I still, hand on heart, do not know why the damn thing failed. You know, hand on heart, I did not break it, unless I dropped it at some point that I don't know about. But it was really good to be able to do a repair, do a good repair video, and put the info out on it. And I want to try and do a few more videos like that. I really do. That was one I did enjoy. Right, we are getting there slowly. Sorry guys, I had to figure out the order that the board went down in, because the screw, there was a slight strange order to the way the screws went in place on that side there. Ooh, I think that's the wrong screw for that one. Let's go over to this one. That's better. That one's slightly shorter, so I think it'll be that one. So yeah, really pleased with it. Really pleased with it indeed. Okay, so we now have the main board back in place. We have the new power board in place as well, and we've got the cable along here, which is that one there. We've now just got to start plugging in some of these connectors. Now there's quite a few of these. Now I don't really need all of these on to test if this boots, but we'll I've got no interest in if this doesn't work, it's going to have to be parted out, because I've not really got a lot of choice of any other options on this one. I tell you something, Apple use some really strange connectors on their stuff as well. Let's just get the antenna connectors back on for that as well. We're going to do you. Now, if this does work, I've been a very, very lucky boy. But B, it's actually a testament to how well it survived. And actually, look, if you ever watch Lewis Rossman, I love his channel, by the way. You know, he has one of my favourite channels on YouTube. I literally probably watch more of his videos than anyone else. And he quite rightly shows all of the bad that Apple do, all of the ways that they could be better, and he just provides outstanding content. He really does. However, I will say this laptop was drowned in the rain for 2 days, and what really saved it was this. If you open it up, they have a rubber seal that runs all the way around this screen area, all the way along the bottom, all the way around, and that stopped the water getting in to the keyboard area. It didn't get wet in here at all. Not a single drop of water had been in here after this was out for 2 days in the rain. The water came in, because the laptop was down like this, through the fan gap on this side here. Sorry, you can't see that. On this side here. That's where the water came in. So it ran down this area here, rolled around, and then ended up coming through the fan and into this board here, and that's where the water got in. But it didn't get in anywhere else. It did not get in anywhere else in the device. So as much as, you know, Apple are not perfect, they don't get everything right, they certainly have some, you know, I've been a big Apple user for a long time, and I've also been shocked at some of their behaviour over the last few years, to say the least. You know, some of the comments online, you see it, you know, people's iPhones can't be repaired. I wish they would be better at telling people what can and can't be fixed. We need to plug this cable in down here, get that in a bit closer for you. I really do wish they would be better at being open and being honest with their users and say, if we can't fix it, someone else might be able to, rather than saying to people, your product is broken and you can never use it again. And Lewis Rossman does an outstanding job of highlighting what they do bad. However, I also have to say of what they do good, I have to say, when, you know, if you look at this, you know, 2 days in solid rain, I'm not convinced any other laptop would have been as good inside as this. So on the flip side, don't get me wrong, if I'd have poured water through it when it was on, I think I'd have been in a bad way. But other than that, I don't think it's too terrible. I don't think it's too terrible. Okay, so the last one is this damn screen connector, and then the battery, and then the other cable. So let's get the other cable first. We're going to do this one. Hopefully this has no human malware. I would like to hope this is a human malware free cable. It is used. It goes over the top like that. Just move across so you guys can see. Over the top like that. So that is just the ribbon cable that goes from that side there to that side there. And it just goes over the top. And then the last one is this thing. Now this is a very easy cable to damage, as I understand it. I also need to make sure I actually get it the right way. Now, I'm assuming it's that way. I don't think it's that way. And here's something interesting. I think it's that way. I'm not sure here. Now, I didn't make a note of this as I was taking it apart. Right. This could end very badly indeed. But let's go for it. Okay. So we've got that back on there. We've got our cables in place. Everything else looks hunky-dory. Right, let's drop you guys out a tad. What I have forgotten to put on is this stupid thing that goes around the fan, but I ain't worried about that today. We're not here for that one, so we will not worry about things like that today. Now, I'm at the stage now where I'm going to plug power in. Now, this could go one of two ways. This could either end in smoke. Okay, we have power connector in. I'm going to zoom you guys right out. Thank you, Dave. I do appreciate you. That I really do appreciate the kind comments. Now we have enough here to see now if this is going to power on. So this again, 2 days in torrential rain. 2 days out and about. Now I don't know if I'm going to need mains for this because it might have drained the battery. It's hardly surprising if it had. Nothing yet? Okay. Okay. Now what is it Lewis Rossman always says? Fan spin. Check for fan spin. It's interesting. There's a connector there that's unused. Yeah, I'm not missing anything. Okay. Right. Let's flip ourselves back over so you guys can see. I'm going to hold the battery up a tad. Right. What we're going to do is go on. We got green light. Are we going to get charge? Oh, we've got charge light, which means the battery is taking power. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. We have Apple logo. Do we have boot? Do we have boot? We have boot! Yes! Let me just take that off screen a minute. Not going to show you that password. This one doesn't have Touch ID. Way! We have a working-ish laptop. Okay, do we have keyboard? Do we have mouse? We have mouse. We have mouse. Do we have keyboard? Let's have a look. We have keyboard. QWERTY. We have keyboard. We have computer. There we go. Let me just spin it round. Later. Yes. Go away. Version running High Sierra. So I'm running High Sierra on this one. 1.86 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, 4 gig of RAM, as I said. NVIDIA GeForce 320M. That's what the other chip was on this. So cool. Now, what's it say about the battery? Have we done any damage to the battery, I wonder? Ooh. What does this mean? Can service battery. Battery isn't functioning normally, or you may have noticed a change in behavior, but the amount of charge it holds. Take it for a service. You can continue. Right, so we have a battery service error. Now, this is probably because of the short out on the water on that connector. Now, the question mark now will be, will it take a charge? Report. I can always do an SMC reset, which is like a BIOS reset in Apple world. Let's have a look. You guys can't see this very well. This does not make good content. Let's zoom this in so this makes better content. There we go. Let's see what it says for power. Battery information. Charging, yes. Fully charged, no. Fully charged capacity, 444. Cycle count, 699 cycles, this battery. Amperage, milliamp hour, volts per minute. So, look, yeah, it says condition service battery. Now, the chances are this has been as a result of the water getting in and shorting all of that out. But what I think I'll do is put it on charge for a bit, because what's it say? Amperage per milliamp volt. So what's the current charge? Charging, yes. Fully charged, no. Charge remaining, naught. So at the moment, it isn't showing a charge. Now the question is, what happens when I take the mains adapter off? The power dies instantly. Okay, so that is interesting. So the question now is the battery actually faulty as well? Or do I need to actually replace it? Or is this more of a problem with the charge circuit as well? Because that could also be playing into it. Now what I did notice is that connector was very, very warm. Very, very warm indeed. You can actually see I've had a little bit of swelling on a few of the cells. If you look on the cells here, right, there's a little bit of bulging on the corners of these. Let's see if we can get it to boot again. Now that's interesting. It's remembered the state. I think what we need to do is let's hop on Safari. MacBook battery service error reset. Is there a reset? Set. Let's do a restart and see if I can get this on the Wi-Fi. This could actually be my Wi-Fi router in the workshop. I'll reboot that as well because I do get problems with it. It does have a habit of refusing to connect to crap at times. It really does. Now the question is with that, okay, so we're not getting Wi-Fi. That is interesting. Okay, now there's no Cat5 port on this because it's a MacBook. And MacBooks don't need Cat5 ports. Allegedly. Ping the router. Okay, so we've definitely got a problem with this network card because it's ping sent to no route to host. So I think what we're going to do is don't apply. We're going to shut it back down, pop the bottom lid off, shut down. Yes. I'm going to shut him down, pop the bottom lid back off, and I think we'll pop that network card off because I didn't remove that in this process actually. I just left it on. So again, what we're going to do first of all is remove the battery power connector because we don't want to set anything on fire. And then let's lift this one off and have a look at what's going on with this. Let's pop off the UFL connectors and try not to rip them off the board because they're a total pain in the ass. And I pop the board out. Come on. We're going to take a look. Well, that all looks okay. No real signs of damage under there. Why is that so dark? No signs of issues on the connector. No signs of burning on the connector. Yeah, that all looks happy to me. So let's pop him back in. See, the interesting thing is he's connecting to the Wi-Fi. So let's go to terminal. Oh, shut off. Hey! So we are pinging. Good news. Now what I haven't actually done is this www.bbc. I hate going to Blighty. Way! Now you're whited out. So let's drop the ISO down a tad, shall we? Boom, that's a bit better. Orange is the new black, is it? Okay, so we have BBC. We have... Interesting, where's my battery logo? Oh, the battery logo is gone because I've left the battery disconnected. What an idiot! Let's shut it back down and plug the battery back in. We need to make sure that the USB ports work, so we're going to want a USB memory stick. We want one of them. It's about all of the ports I really care about on this laptop, as long as I can plug something in on USB and it works. And there we go. And we are back up and running. So let's just make sure everything is still working. Do we have internet? Let's go to Blighty. www.youtube.com. The next question will be, do we have sound? Oh God, where are they? Oh yeah, it is working. Sorry. You know, I've never been to YouTube on this, so I'm not even logged in. Look, we're going to search for XJet. Here he is, 166,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this man here. Do you know what? He found an SD card. So, do we have sound? This will cause fire. Yeah, probably. Let's have a look. That's interesting. Skip the ad. No, I don't have sound. I don't really care. Interesting. Okay, so we have no sound. Okay, so sound is not working. And interestingly, this board is quite... I don't know if the audio controller's on this board, but the headphone jack certainly is. It's interesting. Let me get a headphones. Let me just plug my headphones in and see if I get audio through the headphones. Because I'm wondering, because this board was used and it was said to be fully working, but hey, you might say this one of my videos lacks sound. It's a good thing. Okay. So I have audio. Bruce chose a very nice blues number for this one. Nice choice, Bruce. Very nice indeed. But I don't have sound. Do we have USB port working? Yes, we do have USBs working. Let's try that again on the other side. Yep, we have a USB drive that is working. So we have no sound out the laptop itself. I'll need a new motherboard. Yes, unfortunately they will. Well, I clearly need a board for something, don't I? But no. Well, look, that is pretty much it. I think, look, it is a win, the fact this even boots at all, in my head. Let's come over to the other one. Let's, you know, if you look at what I did to it, it is a win that it even boots at all. You know, it was an insane amount of water, two days worth of water. Now, to be fair to Apple, as much as I've said, as much as people slag them off, and they do deserve it in many ways, the fact there wasn't that much water in it is quite impressive, and it is that rubber seal that goes around the screen that did it. That's what saved it, and it was literally a little bit of water in. It does mean I've got my bench laptop back, so I've managed to recover that. I'm not particularly worried about sound. I might have a bit of a play about with it, but I'm not going to mess around with it for too much longer. Now, that is it, guys. For those of you who have been watching, thank you for hanging in there. It's probably not been the most interesting video, but I thought I would share my experience on it as we were doing it. We have managed to recycle another item on the channel. I've been doing a lot more of this recently, as repairing things. Just trying in lockdown to put a bit more time into doing things, and be able to try and share that as well. You know, I'm certainly not a Lewis Rosman. I'm certainly not Bruce or any of these guys. You know, these guys are outstanding, but I do try to share the little bit of stuff that I do, and hopefully it is a little bit helpful. I've got another video coming out on the channel, maybe tonight actually. It's finished editing, I've just got to push it out. I'll probably do it tomorrow, about with the scope, looking at some signals, and there's a couple more videos coming next week as well. I've got a couple of products to review. I've got a new action camera that's just been released on the market, which is quite interesting actually. Where is it? It's here. It's by a company called, it's called the Brave 7LE, and it's a GoPro style camera, but this is really going up against the DJI one, because it's got a screen on the front, and it, feature wise, it's very, very good. I haven't fully tried the quality yet. I can't comment on it. It's got one thing which I just think is bloody outstanding, which is, look, it's got a quarter 20 on the bottom. Oh, look at that. My Sony is internal temp too high, allowed to cool. My Sony has overheated. Right, guys, yes, there will be a video coming on a camera that you can't see. There will be some other stuff coming on the channel in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to cut this one off here because everything is getting too hot in the workshop. We're getting shut down. Thank you to everyone who's watching. If you've not a subscriber, please do hit that button. That's the shilling done out the way. Have a safe week. Have a safe evening. I will be going live Sunday night properly on the channel. This was just one to see if we could fix a MacBook on air. We've passed the Lewis Rossman test, so bargain. So let me find the button. Let me get onto YouTube. Have a safe few days, everyone. Take it easy, and I will speak to you all again soon.